yesterday they pledged to have more than 1,000 additional linemen in the area. I think that number has now doubled. I have been communicated that by Monday they will have more than 5,000 linemen in this region. That's one of the positive spots. You see them all around town, all through our region. As I understand, they have 4 staging areas throughout the region. We now have a pole laydown yard, which is critically important to getting their infrastructure, their transmission lines and their power lines in place. So slowly, improvements are happening. As it relates to our efforts in making sure we house the most needed, our shelters are in operation at both Henry H. Brigham Community Center, and that's been run by the American Red Cross, and down at our May Park Community Center. There's another positive that our centers are not at capacity, so if there's someone who needs housing or needs some place to go, you can certainly go there. You can also charge your phones. You can get into you can charge your phones. You can get air conditioning.
Generator capacity phones cannot be charged.
Pardon me?
Generator capacity phones can no longer be charged.
So we're on generator at Henry Brigham. Phones cannot be charged, but we do have air conditioning. There's food available there. We're in the process of establishing some bottled water there. At May Park, you should be able to charge your phones. I don't think they're on generator capacity. They're on generator capacity as well? All right, so May Park, we do have air conditioning, but not the ability to charge your phone. Let me just say that it's rapidly evolving. Improvements are made, setbacks are made. Let me tell you about the challenge I mentioned earlier. Earlier today, we stated that we were having some challenges in pumping raw water from our raw water pump station up to our Central Avenue filter plant. Those challenges still exist. However, we're working through them. Pumps are still online, but we're experiencing a lot of trash and debris as a result of the high water levels that are coming down the Savannah River and the trash and debris that's in our Augusta Canal. So with a greater frequency, we're having to clean our filters. And once we have to do that process, the system has to go down for 20 or 30 minutes as we clean our screens and reset the process. To receive updates on everything that I'm talking about, I highly encourage everybody to look at all the social media channels for not only the elected officials. All commissioners have committed to sharing our updates on their websites, on their LinkedIn, on their Twitters. We're doing the same at the mayor's office. At AugustaGA.gov, we're doing that. At Augusta EMA, we're doing that. And so I highly encourage you, if you need updates, please don't hesitate to look there. And you can also, many commissioners have said that in comment section and private messages, if you're in serious distress, don't hesitate to reach out to them there. I still encourage you, if you're in a serious need, only in a serious need, should you call 911. For all other needs, we highly request that you use our 311. The app is still operational. And if you don't have a need, please don't clog our lines. Please don't travel our roads. We continue to be a shelter-in-place community, and that we still don't have many traffic signals throughout the area, especially at night. We're on a curfew from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. It's really dangerous on our roads at night. The presence of the Georgia National Guard has improved significantly, so you will see a greater presence, and they will be helping us to make sure that we manage safety and security for the Augusta region. So if you don't have to be on the roads after 7 p.m., please stay home. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to our fire chief and EMA director, Chief Antonio Burden. And at the end of this, we're going to answer some questions, okay? So we don't mind taking them. So thank you guys for being here. We're going to get through this. Thank you.
So good afternoon. I want to begin by reiterating the mayor's point as it relates to our utilities, because that's extremely important. As the mayor mentioned, we began yesterday morning with over 1,000 linemen. Efforts are ramping up, at every turn. And we expect that number to go to over 5,000 by tomorrow. One of the other things we're working closely with is Atlanta Gas Light to ensure that as we turn the power back on, that those gas lines are repaired. And so the focus there is to first do any inside leaks, inside homes, and then move to the outside leaks. So progress is being made on that front. As it relates to EMS, we are ramping up our efforts with Central EMS. We've reached out to our partners for additional support, and we're adding additional units into our region. As it relates to fire, we are fully operational. We've brought in extra team members to assist with firefighting efforts. We are fully prepared to respond to any emergency and/or fire. I want to thank you for being here today. Know that we are with you, and we will get through this together.
Now we're going to hear from our GEMA partner.
Good afternoon. I'm Mark Sexton. I'm one of the deputy directors at Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency. Just want to express our gratitude for the hospitality and the coordination from the mayor and the entire team here, Augusta, Richmond County. We've got a lot of state resources on the way. We've got several team members already here working the coordination. We're tied in directly with Federal Emergency Management Agency as well. We've already had a visit this morning from Major General Wilson, the Adjutant General of the Georgia National Guard. So you've got a lot of Guard members actually here on the streets with you, working on receiving some of the commodities in, specifically water trucks are coming in now. We're working on setting up the distribution sites to push that out. We'll soon have additional resources beyond the water coming into those. We'll have meals ready to eat, some tarps available for those citizens who need them. But as they stressed, one of the issues is just the public safety aspect of things. Just appreciate everyone's coordination and cooperation, just trying to listen to the messaging that's coming out. The highest priority that we're working towards with the state resources and coordination with the team here is the restoration of the water and trying to get that back up. We believe once we can get the water system fully operational again, that will alleviate a lot of the most immediate concerns that we've got. Just again, ask for everyone's cooperation by listening to the guidance, complying with the curfews, and things of that nature. Thank you. Any questions that anybody might have for us?
Are there any plans in the future to kind of deal with transportation, people that can't go to the water distribution site or people that can't get to the shelters? Any available transportation for those types of people? We have just initiated some plans. One of my conversations with General Wilson is to potentially get some additional National Guard resources. I was just on the phone with one of the county commissioners expressing concerns about some of the neighborhoods. We're going to try and work taking some of those water resources that are here and start moving them around the area to try and get that out to the neighborhoods where folks don't have the ability to come to those distribution points. So yes, we're working that. We haven't implemented those plans yet, but we're working that right now.
Thank you. Mayor Johnson, there had been some talk about maybe some generators coming from the state to power up our gas stations here locally. Can you confirm any of that?
I can confirm that there are generators that are being sent to the area. There is one retailer that Raceway Racetrack has deployed generators to this region, and their stations are expected to be operational within the next day or two. We've had conversations with others, and they're going to do the same.
Regarding the announcement today about the water being turned off, it was said that those services will be hopefully restored in 24 to 48 hours. Before today, though, there were some folks who still didn't have water at all. Is the hope that within these next 24 to 48 hours that they will also get their water back?
That is true, and you're correct, yes. So right now there are still sections of our city that has water. There are others that don't. Due to the sheer volume of us being able to process water, and the demand, as you can imagine, is certainly hampering our ability to provide water countywide. So hopefully in 24 to 48 hours, that effort will improve, and more to come on that.
For the people that do have water left, we have a little bit of water left in use well. Is it okay to keep using that, or would you prefer us to
We would ask you to conserve it. Make sure that you're being proper stewards. If you don't have to of course flush toilets or other things, we ask you to conserve as much as you possibly can. That's our ask.
We have viewers asking about oxygen tanks. The two shelters, the one at Henry Brigham and the one at May Park, will there be EMS or anybody on site to help with oxygen tanks or different things like that with medications?
I'm gonna ask Chief Burton to come up with that. I know we're devising a plan for that specifically for those patients.
Yes, sir. So we're aware of that situation, and we've placed orders for resources. We're just needing them to get here. And so once those resources arrive in the city, and that request is vast, because our needs are vast. And so as soon as we have an operational plan, as soon as those resources get here, we'll be able to deploy.
And Mr. Mayor, with the additional linemen that are coming to the region, is there a date for when residents should expect power to be back?
Georgia's Power has issued a statement. Our region should expect 95% of their customers to be restored by October 5th. And as I mentioned yesterday, keep in mind that does not mean 100%. So there's a chance that some people have received restoration, whereas others, after the 5th, there's probably 5% that probably won't be reconnected. So, but they've committed to 95% by October 5th.
Do you know when you guys are going to start getting more water into the municipal building when you bring out?
We're expecting additional shipments of water, not only this afternoon, but tomorrow. Every day you will see improved shipments and access to bottled water.
What about hospitals and just inpatient care facilities in the area? What is kind of going on with them with all this going on?
All of our hospitals in Augusta Richmond County are operational and serving and receiving patients.
And what's the situation at the jail? Does it have power? Does it have law?
I'm going to ask our law enforcement representative to come up and answer that question. He should be able.
Yes, we do at the jail. We have generators there as well. Water is going to be an issue, so we're addressing that. We've also put in an order to get some backup orders. You know, we have 1,200 inmates there at the jail, so we want to make sure that we have everything we need there.
But there's no water at the moment?
Currently there is now, but it will run out like everybody else's.
You mentioned Atlanta Gas Light, and you said there was leaks inside, potentially gas leaks inside of homes, and they're trying to work to the outside. Could you reiterate that a little bit?
Well, that's Chief.
Yes, sir. So it's extremely important that effort is coordinated. You don't want to turn power on with a gas leak. And so we're working hand in hand. And I can't say enough about the partnerships that are created here. This is a whole community effort. And it's going to take a whole community effort to establish a very planned recovery.
Another question from one of our viewers. They're wondering what happens if this new tropical formation becomes another storm into our area, if we have plans.
We'll continue working through it. Don't have a choice.
Last question for me.
I think it'll be easy because we already have resources and assets in place.
Last question for me. Do you have any words of encouragement to the community as we go through this together?
I have a lot of words of encouragement. As I mentioned, this is the worst natural disaster in our city's history. I have driven throughout this community. I see the people that are in lines waiting for simple things that we didn't have to worry about last week, like food and water. The comforts of hot showers. But I'm comforted to know that each day gets better. Personally witnessed a family who lost a loved one as a result of a tree falling on the house. This isn't easy for anybody. I got to commend my colleagues at the city. Many of these first responders and the people you see behind me, I know one person that probably hadn't got an hour's sleep in the last 36 hours. We've been here. We're going to continue to be here. We're going to continue to ask for prayers. And we're going to ask that you just be patient. People don't understand these things don't happen overnight. Getting the resources in place, simple things, removing debris. Reestablishing power. Let me just tell you how difficult it is. I've ridden around this town. I've never seen concrete power poles snapped as a result of storms in Augusta, Georgia, not down in Savannah or on the coast. So be patient. Get an opportunity to spend a little bit more time with your family and your neighbors. Help one another. And just take our time and let's get through this together. And I assure you, we will get through this. There's no need to make a run on gas or water or food. There's not a shortage in the gas supply, so I assure you, once we get either generators or we get power restored, we have plenty of inventory of gasoline. Once we get power restored to these grocery stores, there's plenty of food. So we just ask for patience. If you don't have to be on the roads, stay off the roads. If it's not an emergency, don't call 911. That's what I ask.
As far as the distribution centers at Southgate and the other ones that you mentioned yesterday, what's the timeline on those being set up?
So I'm going to ask one of my staff members to come up, make sure we understand those hours. But let me just say, as I mentioned, the availability of water to those locations will improve starting tomorrow. And every day they will continue to improve. I have to continue to remind myself, as I was reminded, this is only day 3 over the weekend. This happened Thursday night, Friday morning. Here we are on Sunday. And Monday will get better. I believe that. So let's give it the hours of operation for those distribution points.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson. So the distribution centers that we discussed yesterday that Chief Burden mentioned at both Southgate, the municipal building, Diamond Lakes, we are still working to operationalize those centers to make sure that there's food, water supplies, and also security at those centers. So please, we will be in touch with all of you and we'll provide that information as soon as we have it. In terms of the municipal building, the water will be supplied there until 6:30 p.m. this evening, and we will continue to provide updates about when supplies and food can be picked up. And we hope within coming days that we can operationalize more centers, but that's to be determined.
And I'm going to be honest, one of the challenges with, you mentioned how can we get more water to the people? First, we have to have the water. Once we get the water, I assure you that we will start getting it to where it needs. We're not going to continue to ask people to come drive to get a case of water. We will get better in our distribution. We just have to have the water. Right now, we're just trying to meet the immediate needs of those that may not have access to water. A lot of our residents do, but there are many that unfortunately do not. So right now, we're just asking folks to come to these collection centers, and we promised over the next few days we'll get better with our distribution. Any other questions?
Are there any other transportation efforts happening for residents who are trapped in their homes? I saw somebody, there's a tree covering a driveway and on top of her car. She can't leave for other resources.
I can say our response to that is getting better. I've received at least a half a dozen of those today, and we're dispatching help either through the National Guard or through Georgia Power. So our efforts there are getting better. As I mentioned yesterday, myself, I had to literally climb and walk out of my neighborhood with my family. And I think today we have a few less people that we had yesterday. So hopefully by tomorrow we won't have any. I live along a corridor that was blocked severely, and I drove last night. I was able to get through, which is a huge improvement and a huge success. And as I mentioned, day by day it gets better. Any other questions, guys? If not, listen, thank you for your time and your patience. It's our intent to try to have a commission meeting tomorrow because we have some very important matters regarding procurement, matters regarding how we get better at our delivery of services as a result of this storm. So we're probably going to use that as an opportunity to update you. Not sure yet, but just know if you have any questions or any concerns, don't hesitate to reach out. And I thank you guys for coming this afternoon. Be safe.
What time is that meeting?
It's going to be at 2 o'clock. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, guys.